After taking a brutal hit from Murphy, Arhan's last sword falls from his grasp. Meanwhile, Murphy clutches his wounded eye, roaring in pain and fury as his berserker rage intensifies. Now completely consumed by his battle lust, he prepares to finish the fight against a cornered Arhan. Arhan quickly assesses that while blinding him was a good tactic, the berserker's aura has only grown more ferocious in response. And he knows he is outmatched, realizing that his opponent's raw strength means a single clean hit would be fatal. The sight of his cracked and failing sword only confirms his dire situation as his options rapidly dwindle. Every instinct screams for him to retreat and survive, to live and fight another day. However, it is this very life-or-death crisis that forces him to push beyond his limits. Murphy unleashes a devastating punch, the sheer force of which sends Arhan flying backward. Yet, even on the brink of defeat, Arhan's eyes blaze with blue energy as he resolves that he must stand and fight. This life-threatening moment unlocks the final memories of the Sword Fang, transporting his mind to the free city of Crowd. He relives the memories of the Crowd freedom fighter who recalled that to reclaim freedom, someone had to spill blood, a role he willingly accepted. The freedom fighter remembers honing his deadly skills in the Firma arena through countless life-or-death struggles. Ultimately captured, he hangs bleeding, having spilled plenty of blood and crossed every line to reach this very end. Facing his own execution, he sees no opening for escape and no darkness in which to hide, so he accepts his fate. He is led to the guillotine before a crowd and a line of enforcers, believing there is nothing more he can do. A cruel executioner calls for the crowd's attention, ready to make an example of the captured rebel, and gleefully declares this to be the wretched end for a murderer who dared to slay faithful enforcers and innocent nobles. Then, he commands the citizens to witness this miserable end as a warning against disrupting the established order. After that, he orders them not to resist, but to bow their heads and submit, telling them it is the only comfort they are allowed. With a sinister grin, he reinforces the idea that submission is their only choice. The oppressed citizens of Crowd look on, their faces etched with fear and hopeless resignation. But just then, a guard moves, and cuts the rope that binds him to the horse. In that moment, he realizes there is nothing more he can do. However, when he suddenly becomes free, he shatters the illusion of his captor's control. He flips to his feet, stunning the guards and the onlooking crowd alike. With furious determination, he refuses to let his story end so powerlessly. And in a shocking act of ultimate defiance, he sinks his teeth into the guard. Through a pained cry, he declares that he does not fear dying like trash and is willing to be trampled to dust in battle. The executioner and the crowd are utterly shocked by this brutal and unexpected act of rebellion. Standing over a fallen guard, the freedom fighter vows that he must become the darkness that resists to the bitter end. With the guard's half-torn ear in his mouth, he proclaims his goal, to become the darkest darkness in order to illuminate the light of freedom. Then, facing the executioner, he addresses the citizens in the crowd, telling them not to bow their heads. He unleashes a defiant roar, urging them to show the world that they, too, have the will to fight. His powerful words pierce the fog of fear, igniting a spark of hope in the eyes of the people. He rallies them, shouting for them to fight back when their rights are stripped away, and urges them to resist when they are being trampled. Just then, the guards move forward to attack. He dodges that attack and severs one of them. He then screams the painful truth, that Crowd no longer lives up to its name as a free city. His declaration resonates deeply with the citizens, for they all know he speaks the truth. However, he continues his fight. His final commands echo through the square: do not look away, do not submit. And though he takes a fatal wound, his resistance continues to inspire those watching. He shouts that even if they are lost in a thick fog where they cannot see an inch ahead, they must keep moving forward, and he fights on until his last breath. As chaos erupts, the executioner falls from his panicked horse. The citizens, once frozen in fear, now look on with shock and newfound resolve. Spurred by the hero's sacrifice, one man clenches his fists, ready to act. And across the square, the collective fear of the people transforms into righteous anger. Terrified, the executioner realizes he has lost all control. The dying freedom fighter stands over the cowering executioner, his mission almost complete. In his final moments, he looks out at the people he has awakened, and dies with a single purpose on his mind: freedom. Instead of letting him fall, the citizens he inspired rush forward to catch his body. One young man's face twists with determination. A torch has been passed. The crowd unites, their voices rising in a single powerful chant: for freedom. Fists are raised in unison, signaling the start of the people's rebellion. The oppressed citizens finally fight back, attacking the enforcers who have tormented them for so long. Even the terrified executioner cannot escape the sound of the people chanting for their freedom. The rebellion explodes as the people in the crowd gather to tear the executioner apart. The freedom fighter smiles, content that his sacrifice has shown the true spirit of his city. A vision of a bright and liberated crowd fills his dying mind, a symbol of the future he fought for. Back in the present, Murphy is ready for the final, fatal attack on him. Arhan, now empowered by the darkest darkness of crowd, prepares to unleash its full might. He accepts the freedom fighter's legacy, vowing to carry on his indomitable will. A massive wave of brilliant blue energy erupts from him as he swings his sword, and blood splatters in the air. Murphy is completely stunned, unable to comprehend what just happened. In an instant he feels his own power, his path being completely shattered by Arhan's newfound strength. Just then, his head falls from his shoulders, a testament to Arhan's new power, and Arhan realizes that the sword fang has been completely digested.